the players not playing deck of Lunacy in his Mage deck.
Right.
So could hurt him a little bit. He's also playing like one shooting star, which is not. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong list.
Let me have a look.
2 shooting stars. He's playing 2 shooting stars.
Even more wasted.
Yeah.
But he's going to do something with turquoise and play Incanter's Flow. That's a good card.
That is a good card. And because he's able to keep Incanter's Flow, he keeps the combination of Primordial Studies Cram Session. Obviously, by themselves, not great cards to keep in the Mulligan. But in combination with everything else that he's keeping, it makes sense. Because that's the one thing you're missing when you play Incanter's Flow is it's a card in your Mulligan. It's not an extra spell in your deck. You need to be able to have the card draw to find the now discounted resources.
One of the big deals for the Priest is to just keep health total on board. It doesn't really matter about the attack value of your minions, though obviously bigger is nicer. To play around those masks. Well, not so much to play around them, but it gives the Mage it makes them waste their burn on your minions. Shooting Star doesn't cut it against this lot, yeah, and Ogre Mansa comes at the end of what is going to be a run of nice cards for Nalguidan. So the pressure is going to be there for some time, and that could allow him to get into a decent mind render on turn 8 or 9. What do you reckon to that?
Yeah, he just wants to make sure that he doesn't give like an immense amount of value or hoards like healing cards that can then be burned. But yeah, if you can get Mind Render in a position where you can dump some of the burn that Mage is able to pick up, can oftentimes win you the game on the spot. Not always.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that Nalguidan will keep track of is how many reduced cards are in hand. Because weirdly, sometimes the Incanter's Flow starts to count against the Mage, especially if it's double Incanter's Flow. If they've got sort of 5 reduced cards and you just Mind Render, you can sometimes just empty their hand for them, and that's the end of the game. Long way to go, but that's what he's trying to set up.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I think.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing to keep track of anyway, just so you can also play around specific burn breakpoints, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like, how much mana does he need to be able to play this sequence of spells that kills me? I need to get above that amount of health.
Come in.
Game Master, just a card to get on the board and dump from his hand. Double Imprisoned Phoenix. Honestly, at this point, like, that's a lot of turns of just weeding around for spell damage.
Yeah.
But is it worth the coin? Nope.
Yeah, I mean, not yet, I guess. He agrees, but I think he'll want them
Still wearing the hat.
That's the thing, right? Yes. You think the hat helps?
I don't know. Helps Monsanto. Actually, no, it doesn't help Monsanto because Monsanto, I feel like, just keeps losing whenever we mention the hat. And then the one series this week where he took off the hat, he ended up closing out and winning. So I don't know what to believe anymore.
Have you seen Monsanto's tweet?
No.
It was tongue-in-cheek, as always, Monsanto. I don't think he means this in a malicious way. But he said that the hat was a red herring, and that everybody knows that actually the more bad plays you make, the better you draw. And he couldn't top not clearing a board and putting your face into a 5-attack minion for no reason.
There you go.
That was his reasoning. A dig at the one bad play that No Hands has like made in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
But again, I'm absolutely sure that Monsanto, being tongue-in-cheek as always, he's one of the best sports in the game. For when he loses, he's absolutely happy for his opponent. The way he dealt with Fled in week 1 when Fled was a little bit overexcitable, and he calmed down the community for Fled. It was really, really kind guy.
Do you see this?
Yeah, I see this.
Double Imprisoned Phoenix. Just there you go. That's my turn.
Yep. That's what he kept the coin for, because when those unimprison themselves, he's going to have a blast in quite literal terms, I think.
what does he do between now and then?
He watches and he waits and he stalks. Hopefully kills some minions.
Yeah, just gonna throw a fireball at the Ogremancer. Alright, well, next turn he's gonna pop off.
Mm-hmm.
Cram Session will draw 5 cards.
It's a lot of cards, and he's got the coin for that eventuality. This is what he must have planned this when you were talking about turn 3, like, would you coin Phoenix? He made this choice then, that he was going to do these next 2 or 3 turns. And even though the board has developed against him in that time, he's kind of stuck to this line now. He's got to go for it.
Yeah.
Think about the Shadowform here. It's kind of tempting as a closer. Play we haven't seen for a while here is tempting to me, which is empty your hand of all of the things that can kill your own board and then mind render them and kill them with over 2 turns.
Yeah. I mean, that could be okay, but maybe later in the game. Like right now there's only 6 mana, so if he just starts like condemning nothing, it's going to be a big tell for no hands.
Fair enough, yeah. But that's something he can set up. This is a massive turn though for no hands, as predicted really.
Yep. Other Incanter's Flow. You go Pexus Blast, Brain Freeze, and Canter's Flow.
Oh, yeah.
Or Shooting Star. I'm actually not sure which one is like more efficient. I guess Shooting Star because Brain Freeze still has the ability to kind of be like a gain some tempo type deal. Where you're freezing a minion that could be like Apotheosis.
Hysteria the Goober. See how big you can make it.
What is it?
So it'll take 6, right, if you Hysteria it, because it'll attack 1.
Yep. It will take 6. And then it'll kill you.
Yeah, he could Apotheosis 1 and then Hysteria. Or Hysteria Shadow and Ruin.
He gets
Oh no, Hysteria Condemn kills it.
Yeah,
Hysteria Condemn kills it, yeah.
But it'll be huge. It'll be a 14-0. I love it.
Yeah, but that's an entire turn.
Yeah, and your mask, you can get masked. Now, if no hands it can pick up a mask, that's a terrible thing for the priest.
Yeah. Doesn't, though, but does have a corrupted ring toss that can then corrupt a ring toss.
Seems legit.
Has double Incanter's Flow, which means that he will hit Ring Fair Game through these secrets. And there is no way for Nalguidan to deal damage.
I think Priest has been how do I word it? Because I understand that the second I say this, I'm going to get it wrong. I think Priest is a lot more fair to play against, except for the fact it's got some really good cards right now, since they took out all the direct damage that it had. It's still busted for other reasons, but I think that it's a really good step for Priest to have all that damage removed. What do you reckon to that?
What damage?
They used to have sort of things that just shot you in the face.
Oh,
Like
Mind
Holy
Blast.
Sight and Mind Blast and all that stuff. All that stuff going as
Well, they got rid of damage from just about everybody.
that's true.
Imagine if Frostbolt was still in the game, how absurd Mage would be. How even more absurd Mage would be.
That's fair.
Just more burn that they can replace the worst cards in their deck. But yeah, I don't miss the Velen OTK type dealios. Nalguidan's discovers this game have been awkward. I guess this is Thrive in the Shadows.
What?
Could go for Power Infusion to put something big on the Onyx Mage Scrap the next turn. Okay, Draconic Studies. Just gonna heal though. Not playing anything on the board. Prime opportunity for Mask of Cthulhu.
Yeah, especially as it's going to be this big fair game. Like my first thought is it doesn't matter. There it is, because he knows it's not there. But you know you're letting him have a big fair game, so this is brave. And this is... It's not the end of the game, but it feels like the end of the game.
Refreshing spring water.
Refreshing mana crystals since 2020.
Oh. This is just the nuts.
And another one. He's only got 9 cards left, but they're good. Oh, stop it!
So the double refreshing spring water cost 8 together, and they'll restore 8 together. So you could play both and have each one essentially be free in that regard, even though they're odd costs. I think whatever happens, he's going to be ending the turn playing Mask.
He has to play this Mask while he can, yeah, because Priest has got too many high health. The reason that Mage Scribes started getting played in Priest was in part because of the mirror, but they're surprisingly unamazing in the mirror. They're definitely good, obviously. But they're for Mage. You can stick 9 health on the board and say, don't mask me, please. Right, how much can he dump?
Share your thoughts with the class now. Hungry, aren't ya?
Okay. It's actually not that much.
Yeah, start dumping cost spells just because you can, right?
Nalguidan has 5, or No Hands has 5 cards remaining into the deck. Of those 5 cards, there's a Pexus Blast, Mask of Cthulhu, and Fireball. So like all the burn's just hiding down at the bottom.
He's trying to burn cards here.
Okay.
My hand is.
So he filled up the hand, didn't play the naught cost spells like I was going to make the
Yeah,
mistake.
that's smart.
Burned the Fireball. Now he's going to burn some more stuff.
The Pexus Blast, okay.
And now he's playing the 0 cards. It's a really smart idea. I don't think it's going to work, but I like the plan.
Oh, Desperate Prayer, that's sick!
There's nothing left.
Yeah,
mask.
there's a mask. That's it. That's the only burn.
That was actually really cool.
Now, what can No Hands... Raise Dead, Imprisoned the Phoenixes? Nope. I mean, luckily for him, he hit the 2 worst ones, so he can just ignore those.
Yeah.
And now get on to have them.
Yeah, just you have these. Mage Scribe maybe needs dumping, and probably Apotheosis, because if Apotheosis ever comes down, you're just done.
What to do?
Yeah.
You want to play on a Sethek, really?
I don't think he wants to give him the 2 spells for Mage Scribe, so I think he'd rather just give him 1 spell from Sethek and then dump the Mage Scribe. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Magic is not a toy.
All right. Last card for No Hands is a... I actually don't know. My deck tracker's all weird.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't go weird with Mindrender, to be fair?
It's Refreshing Spring Water, I think?
He's played 12 of those already, though.
I know. Feels weird, but that would be my guess.
Okay.
That's my best guess. Because he burned Fireball, he burned... he picked up the Mask, and he burned a Pexus Blast. We saw double Devolving Missiles, and we saw the Brain Freeze. Yeah, so it's got to be Refreshing Spring Water as the last card.
How do you feel about an Asira here, just to
Magic is not a toy.
use the dream and slow things down?
Do not.
Oh, yeah. Acidic Swampoos.
Wow. Just mask in the face for 10. Attack with 2 minions. It's nearly lethal. I know there's like 15 health he's got to dodge on the board, but you know, he can get there. I'm an optimist. You're right. Never doubt T. Never.
So he could go Aegwin Combustion and then get a pre-spell. Ooh.
Sure.
I wonder.
Just such a weird
Flame
game.
Strike trade.
Don't think he's got.
Okay, he's just going to start with this.
Yeah.
Start getting some spells. Focus Will? Nope.
I mean,
That
just
ain't it.
cycle that. Turn it into something else.
Yeah, put more health on your Onyx Mage Scribe.
Yeah.
Ray's dead.
Sure.
All right, well, I mean, he's in fatigue, but who cares at this point?
He's got to go. No Hand's going quickly. He's very good at going quickly.
Wait a
but
second.
He's always dodgy.
When did he have an ooze die?
Ask the deck tracker.
I don't know.
Nor does the deck tracker at this point.
Did he play the ooze from hand? No, he didn't.
No. Absolutely not.
I don't know. Devolving Missiles got
Oh, he-
devolve into an ooze.
Maybe he played it when they switched. Is there news in Nalguidan's deck?
Yeah, there is. But I just thought he didn't play when they switched. I thought he just played Sethic Apotheosis and Onyx Mage Scribe. I don't know.
That's what I thought too.
It shall remain a mystery. It happened at some point.
Use may have cost 0 at that point. It may have been found or
I
something.
wonder.
Oh.
So maybe we
Potentially.
just blanked it because it was an autoplay. I might be wrong on that, but I think maybe he just played it as 0 and we just ignored it because news.
All right, well, Nalguidan's still in trouble.
Yeah, he is.
He pretty much knows what the remaining cards are. He just doesn't know what the second raised dead minion is. That's it. Gonna
play
drink
this
back
game.
Oh, this is smart because he can't activate the Onyx Mage Scribe because he knows that there's a 5-mana mask and the only other spell is Refreshing Spring Water, which he can't cast.
Right.
Technically, he could, but it'd be a clock.
Yeah, it would be a little bit too ambitious,
All right.
I think.
Aegwin Mask. 12 hits, 8 need to go face.
Or 8 need to go on the minion. At least he gets a good trade then.
My powers are never truly gone.
No, he doesn't because there's a Awakens.
Oh! Whoa! Oh, he was one off! Oh, are you kidding me?
And he's got a trick totem, TJ. They always get
It's
there.
gonna come down to Trick Totem. That's it. It's gonna come down to Trick Totem.
Or
What?
legitimately might come down to Mage Scribe Springwater now as well.
Yeah, but then he could just die, right? Because he doesn't have anything that he could pick up that turn because Springwater won't restore mana crystals because he's got nothing to draw.
But the priest has nothing, or very little. Yeah, I'm not saying he wants to do that. I just think that maybe he ends up having to do that, and it will be entertaining. Nalguidan's really struggling to heal. He hasn't got any extra effects other than his hero power. That's bad for him. It really might be the Trick Totem here. That would entertain me greatly.
Yeah, it could be. There are some things that deal damage.
Magic is not a toy.
He's doing it!
He's gonna go. He needs like Brain Freeze plus a burn spell here because he's gonna die to fatigue with just the board. Actually, no, he's dead. Yeah, because he would only be able to freeze one minion, and then whatever minion was left would just get nightmared, and he'd take 5 fatigue.
And it should have been
So he-
Trick Totem then, right?
It should have been Trick Totem, yeah. There was 0 outs, I think, with that play. Whereas Trick Totem could have cast the Shaman spell that deals 3 to face.
Yep. And he's got spell damage, so he only needs to deal 2. In fact, he could play Trick Totem Pink, he'd only need 1. 1 direct or 2 AoE.
Wound Prey. Quick Shot. Right? There's so many. Whereas that one, no matter what, if he gets Brain Freeze, he freezes to 4. He knows Nightmare's in hand. So whatever minion doesn't get Brain Frozen gets Nightmare, and then he takes 5 Fatigue. So it's even if there's one attack minion on board, if there's a single minion on board, he's dead the next turn to Fatigue. Is there any burn that he could get for 1 mana? No. I don't know. Because maybe he thought Refreshing Spring Water actually gave back mana crystals, but he's not drawing any spells, so it doesn't give back any mana crystals.
Right. That's an easy mistake to make when it always gives back mana crystals, unless you draw a Solarian, I guess. Because that's how the deck has always functioned since the start of this season.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it ended up being kind of close there at the end. He was 1 damage off the Mask of Cthulhu from ending the game there. Just a single point of damage. And then Trick Totem at the end could have found lethal, though very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I think now
maybe it could have removed something and protected his minions, or I don't know, but don't know. But I think Trick Totem there was the play.
Nalguidan deserves a massive shout out for that play on the Elucia. Yeah, he had an opportunity. He identified it quite quickly how it was going to work in terms of just burning everything away. So we're used to throwing everything away, which is the normal way to play Elucia. You steal the hand and you just cast all their stuff. But he found a unique way of doing it, which was play the font, fill up the hand with the font of power, and then just draw all of the rest of the cards out of the way. And do it yourself tickets. Go, TJ, we got this.
Well, it was inevitable, right? If it didn't happen in the first matchup, it was going to happen now. Just the way these guys' lineups are built, the Priest Mirror was just bound to happen. So unless the Mage won in that last series, or in that last game.
Have it any other way. It's only a 3-match day, and yeah, a Priest Mirror a day keeps
TJ away. No, it keeps TJ away for sure.
Keeps you away till next week.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, let's take a look at the head-to-head. So, No Hand's still playing the Flesh Giant variation, but with a single Onyx Mage Scribe and a Soul Mirror and a Ysera naturally in the deck. So, pretty good. Nalguidan has an Ooze, so points against him for that. But does have a double Onyx Mage Scribe. So, all things considered, we're about even.
Yeah, I favour Nalguidan just slightly here, although that Ooze may prove me wrong. It's worse than it sounds, because if you ever play it, your raised deads become garbage. But having talked to Impact for a while during the Specialist weeks, the Giants are actually a liability in the mirror. Your health total doesn't change much. They're easy to remove relative to their cost. Even if they come down for 0, they're not that hard to remove. And I've thought about it, and I agree with his assessment. I might be wrong, he might be wrong, but the Giants are too much hassle. They sit in your hand doing nothing for so long, and then by the time you're playing them, you'd rather be playing Infinite Yseras and stuff. Sure, it's an 8-8, and sure, they can prove me wrong, but can you imagine an 8-8 ever hitting face if it comes down on turn 7 or 8 here? It just doesn't happen.
No. But then again, nothing does.
That's also
and if it does, it doesn't really have enough attack to make a difference.
Yep, I agree with
They
that.
don't even feel it. It does come down to essentially like the late game value, and when that's the case, you want just like as many things that create other things as possible, and you want to use the minimum amount of resources that you can to remove the board and develop a board each and every turn. And you don't want to draw cards, right? Unless you are like quite obviously the aggressor in the matchup, or forced to play the aggressor because you have a significant disadvantage, a la your opponent has Cthulhu and you don't. that kind of thing. Because then they're 4 cards ahead already, and you know, unless you mind render one, you're at a significant disadvantage. But this is not one of those matchups.
So being the aggressor.
Okay.
Nalguidan just a long think, and he is going to, I think, go for the tempo route. It suits his play style, which is definitely a thing in Hearthstone, even though, you know, you can argue whether it should be a thing. He very much likes to build these sort of tempo boards, and he is picking the more aggressive spells from his discovers. And I think we might see him try to go wide and deliver some damage. It doesn't usually get there, but you can sometimes deplete your opponent's resources. Now, another thing to look for here is what things the players are happy putting in their graveyards and getting back. So No Hands has gone for very low value Raise Dead, in my opinion. With this
okay, I think this is actually quite good. Because he like curating the pool of things that can just create other things, right? Because it's going to get messy later on, so having it be just a known quantity is good.
Sure.
Anything that creates more things, because he's able to find Draconic Studies, which could be another Onyx Mage Scribe. And I guess Shadow or Death is not like that high value. It's a 1-for-1, and usually you want to be going a 1-for-1 at worst, I guess. Right, because it can, your opponent can throw buffs on it. But
well, now Nalguidan agrees, so I'm clearly wrong on that. I tend to try and wait for the big things, like get myself back an Ogre Mansa and a Mage Scribe, and take a little bit of damage to do that, and try and win it with multiple medium-sized minions that are also doing work at the same time. But both players here are happy to just have, you know, repeated small things that are getting more things that are definitely going to contribute. And that Draconic Studies is a big deal. It's a bigger deal than it looks on the screen as a 1-drop that does nothing. He'll take another one now.
Yeah, he already has a Shadow or Death. Do you really need 2 Shadow or Deaths? The answer is no.
Unless you're Fled, who never got one all game. But yes, you're right. You never need them.
Yeah, well, you only need 1 in that case. He only needed 1. He didn't need 2.
That's a good point.
Ooh, ooh, yes, Brightwing. Ooh, wait, no, I don't know.
Yeah, but no, but yeah.
It's a prime, so it shuffles a prime in your deck, but the prime draws cards, so then, like, all right, yes, you can get slightly ahead of fatigue, but then you can never play the card that's shuffled into your deck until you're out of stuff.
Not ideal. I think that's a negative on average.
Spell damage could be something. I don't know. It's weird. It's complicated. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's complicated. We'll leave it at that, right? That's just sums up your entire relationship with Priest Mirrors, I feel.
Yeah.
It's just complicated. As is the mirror itself, quite complicated. The problem is you never really know which decision it was that you made that led to you losing.
Fair, yeah. And I'm a big proponent of going back and watching your matches to see what you could have done better, but not when it's a Priest Mirror.
It's because you might do it once or twice, but unfortunately I opened 14 boxes and they opened 13, but they beat me. Could I have opened a 15th box? Is that the reason I lost, or did I just get unlucky? Like, if I opened more boxes than them, didn't I just win?
Not if all your boxes were bad.
Right, but in terms of learning for the future...
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like tempo plays, right? Or like micro decisions. Like Priest Mirrors, you can get tunneled on macro lines, but if you're making like small micro decisions here and there, like inefficient trades, those can add up. All right, Shadow or Death got its value.
Yeah, for now. Now he does need one in hand, and he hasn't got one, so that's the thing. I think one thing that is interesting that these players are very good at, that maybe I'm not in particular, is knowing when to go for that tempo line. I think Tincho did it a couple of weeks ago with great effect. You just look at your board and you suddenly realise, I can make 4 minions a turn for 3 turns, or the equivalent thereof, and just smack them, and that should win me the game. But if you go for that and you get it wrong, you lose because you've given up drawing the value, which is the crux of this matchup. But just occasionally, an opportunity rears its head where I win if I do this now, because they will never keep up with the removal. But it's so hard to find.
Yeah, it's a very difficult way to win the mirror.
It's just that
You have to be really confident that they don't have the answers.
Yeah, exactly. Because they usually do.
You're right, though, Neil. He needed 2 Shadow or Deaths.
Yeah. I think he took the right card, but I do like to have, like, memeing a bit at the time, I do like to have a couple of big removals because you can just lose to them. Or lose a lot of value and therefore have a temporary setback. Because this is more like a war digging for territory slowly but surely. No one sort of just knocks it out of the park. Because you don't really knock it out of the park in wars, that's not how they work. But yeah. Okay. Doing it the hard way.
Yeah, so he actually had a decent clear there if he had gone Lady Vaj, Holy Smite, Renew.
Okay.
Zyrella. Oh, no, he didn't. No, because the Renew was reduced. Yeah, if he'd gone for spell damage, then it would have been clean. I think so. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But I was curious what his plan was. I think I was tunneled on, like, Condemn trade, but he's also at full hand with this line. This was awkward.
It's bad, yeah. You don't want to burn one of your resources.
Yeah, he's got, like, Onyx Mage Scribe, Ysera, double Flesh Giant. I mean, there's a lot of good burns in the deck, right? And he gets a Plagued Protodrake in place of whatever he would have gotten. Just not an efficient turn overall.
Those do add up. But the good news is everybody has bad turns with Priests, so just don't do it again. You should be all right.
There you go.
Not you.
Hand is too full.
Yep, see, Venomous Scorpion's quite good.
Yeah, definitely not one you want to burn. I'm really pleased to see Nalguidan getting good results. When I used to sort of cast all kinds of things, while you were, casting the big stuff, I was casting a lot of small stuff. And every time there was a LATAM player involved who I hadn't heard of, I would get a whisper from Nalguidan saying, this player did this, just 3 or 4 lines of background and name pronunciation and stuff. Really took an interest in the whole scene, not just at the level he was playing, but the people below him in the pecking order as well. Made sure they got their proper promotion and got their names out there and stuff. So it's nice to see him having a particularly good season as opposed to his normal sort of standard pretty good stuff.
Quickly.
I have a similar report with Nalguidan where every time I quote his spell mage record wrong, he sends me a message on Twitter, corrects me, talks himself up a little bit. It's real cool.
Yeah? You're tight like that, are you?
Yeah. We're best buds.
Magic is not
I'd hate to see what happens if you get it wrong again, or if he pulls you up on one again. You're gonna get messy. But yeah, he definitely earned a lot of respect from the community for that. And also
Mine or yours?
No, and also for talking to me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, did he? That just happened like yesterday.
Yeah, it's taken him 6 years to find the way, and it's just insult TJ on Twitter.
Okay. Well,
there's a
we're
game
still
going.
at kind of a stalemate. Yeah, we're still at kind of a stalemate in the value war. Each turn, someone attacks something and then plays something else that makes something else.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kind of recognize a turning point.
Yeah, like towards the end, when you get near to the fatigue, these proto drakes get really, really powerful. The problem is you can't hold them for 17 turns, so they kind of have to come out now.
Yeah.
But ideally, you'll get yourself another one towards the end, and even Deathwing sometimes towards the end can be a super card to have from these dragons. And I know we don't say towards the end, like you're both 2 cards deep in fatigue.
Yeah, Ysera's kind of the end all be all.
Must consider.
Because it gives you minions, it gives you spells. Spells that do different things, right? Board clear, tempo, damage, and minions. So, okay, dumping the focus will. This is still an awkward position for No Hands because he's got a lot of big things, but he doesn't have ways to kill those big things. Actually, Apotheosis Zyrella. But it's still not super clean because he's not getting the full value of the heal. Oh, no, he can attack, then heal Nalguidan's face. And then Zyrella. There we go.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Nicely done, but... Oh, what's he...
Wait, no.
I should have healed his proto drake instead of Nalguidan's face.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's all it is.
Did he also... How much damage did it deal? How much damage did it deal?
What?
He healed for 7. It did 9. It did exactly 9. Okay, yeah, he should have healed his proto-drake in that instance. You're absolutely correct.
It's funny, though, because you...
But he had the same instinct as me, and we both had the wrong instinct. That's really weird. I wonder why.
Because you count, okay, I can heal their face, and I can heal myself for 7. You count it in that order, sort of instinctively.
My blade
I think.
Okay.
I nearly didn't spot it, and because, yeah, I was also seeing the same thing. So the step in between, because you're trying to think of clever things, you sort of miss the step in between, which is my fingers injured.
I mean, that's a punish, right? Because that it would have survived in that Blade Master Samuro. Obviously, you know, Nalguidan, he had power word fees. Don't tell NoHandsGamer. Let him believe his mistake was bigger than it was. All right, he played it. It would have cleared it anyway. But, all right, never mind. Nalguidan would have been at full health. All right, it literally didn't matter, but it could have.
Yeah, and also
that's the important part.
Mistake like that he's made today, and that will irritate him.
Yeah.
Which sounds flippant when I say it like that, but it's definitely a thing. If you start making little mistakes, we saw it earlier when Boston and Felkeen were having a day. Like they just, whatever was happening, they just couldn't think straight. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's sort of you start worrying about why you're worrying, and you stop worrying about the game if you're not careful.
We are friends now. Hello, friend.
Ooh. Lillian Voss.
Sure. Take that damage.
The problem here, again, for No Hands is he's just got a bunch of big, beefy things. And no spells. His only spell is Hysteria.
Yeah.
Weird situation to be in. For sure. Because as soon as Nalguidan has that one card that, you know, lets him have a comeback on the board, No Hands is no longer 2 for 1-ing. Could be an opportunity for Mind Render, though.
I don't like mind rendering in this game unless you're miles behind. You give up 2 points of fatigue.
Look at Mind Render back at the end.
If they've got it, yeah. If you get the sort of the vibes that they've got it, or that they've got a load of insights and stuff, and that's list dependent, obviously, then you can do it. But neither of these players are playing Insight, I don't think.
Nope.
So in a game where you're playing no insights and your opponent's playing 2 insights, you can do it because you can cast their insights for them and fatigue them. Or tick them towards the fatigue. But if you're both playing 0 insights, I think there's very little reason to do it. Unless maybe they've got a load of stuff on the left-hand side of their hand that's been there for a long time, and you get that player's inspiration that, hold on, I think he's, my opponent has got some insights in their hand. I want to dump their hand for them. But I don't like it in general. Like you said, if they've got their own mind render, you can do it right at the end of the game, maybe as well. Maybe with 1 turn to get before fatigue.
But you're not like throwing away much resources, so.
Yeah, it's all very long-winded conversation about not much happening.
Evil lurks in these halls.
All right, Infiltrator Lillian.
Throwing away his direct damage.
What? Yep. Another Guardian of Kings. That's just kind of weird. Not really like that big of a deal since it's not like this. Ah, what a crazy 7-drop. It's so good.
Magic is not a
It's just decent. It's just weird to see 2 of them. But the Onyx Mage Scribe chain continues for Nalguidan. Having 2 in your deck as opposed to 1 is just this snowball effect.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. NoHands has hit this paradox part of the game, right? He wants to empty his hand so he can Ysera and fill his hand back up. But the problem is the Ysera cards are not particularly amazing in the mirror. They're fine, they're good, you want them. You've got to out-resource your opponent, but you don't want to just waste the cards in your hand to dump them, to empty them. You have to find a sweet spot where you get Dream, Nightmare, and maybe the 3/5.
Water is life.
So he is definitely trying to dump his hand at the moment to play a good value Ysera. That seems obvious.
Okay.
And the point being, the quicker you play your first Ysera, the quicker you can play your second one.
Yeah.
Bam!
So nets 4 damage to face. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff right there.
So he could have saved
Set
that.
thing on the board too.
You could save that for surprise 4 damage with an Awakens later. Just bam! Take damage. $17?
I wonder.
Your opponent has announced their intention to out-tempo you. You've got to respond.
You shouted it from the rooftop.
Yep, I'm going to tempo you.
Wonder.
He said, "Look at all this tempo. You can't handle it."
Right the
was a
way
taunt.
across the street. Yeah.
Yep. Nalguidan said,
Say your
What?
thoughts with the class. Now!
because he's 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, and also, yeah.
That was a Neil. That joke was just for you, Neil.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I
Well,
remember the other day.
Now!
You don't break the
Did that do anything?
no. I got some minions on board.
Do any of these cards do anything?
Wand Thief could be good.
But the dream is eternal.
Elaborate?
Wand Maker, excuse me. Get another Draconic Studies. Surprisingly enough, No Hands actually just has 2 natural Draconic Studies left in his deck.
Good. That's a good spot to be in, for sure. Nalguidan checking the screenshot he made of his opponent's hand, which is perfectly legal. Pretty sure that's what he's doing right now.
Yep. But it's only 3 cards. It's a Dragonmaw Skystalker, a Sleepy Dragon, and a Wand Maker. But now he knows the whole hand, because it's dream cards. Actually, he doesn't know the Wand Maker, right? Because that came at the end? Okay.
He needs to get rid of some of this dead weight. That's what he needs to do this turn. Like these condemns. Get rid of them.
What is Elun's will?
I mean, I know you want the maximum value, but at some point you just got to say, you know, as much as I like Steve Austin, just this condemned is just rubbish. Just get rid of it.
Just gonna dump some other stuff. Oh my gosh.
This is brave.
No Hands is only 11 damage off lethal. How could he leave this Ysera up?
11 of the slowest points you'll ever count down.
If he renews and he picks up Apotheosis, he'll only be 9 damage off lethal. That is insane.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Shadowform. He's only 9 damage off lethal. He could set up a 5-turn lethal right now.
5 turns, TJ. That's all it's going to take if your opponent
really,
to heal or goes AFK.
Yeah. I do think Shadowform is just sick here, especially No Hands because his hand is very minion heavy, very removal light. So does need to be careful with his ability to just kind of take incremental things off the board with the Shadowform. So he's just going kind of full tempo, honestly. Giving a Wandmaker back is a little risky, right? Because that, again, Draconic Studies or Renew could be an extra dragon or an extra spell. But he wants to be able to preserve this board state. Oh, Draconic Studies!
Nice. That is the best card in the matchup, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see when Nalguidan just like springs into life. Because he's been quite happy to just protect every single piece of value in his hand. He is the one behind in fatigue, so he is the one who's got to do something eventually.
What is Elun's will?
He's sort of behind in fatigue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's behind in fatigue. Lady Vaj can just be played as the last card.
Yes.
You don't pick the ones.
Or even, I was going to say, well, not played, but you might as well play it as the last card,
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't mind putting a blank card in your deck. It's very rare you actually just run out of things to do. It's just the things you do aren't very exciting. So even if it was just literally just a piece of card, you'd probably still take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Deathwing. Oh, you could take the Dragon Maw, actually. I would take the Deathwing, though. And save it forever.
That's what he's going to do.
Literally play it when you get into fatigue. If you get that far, which you could well do. It looks like we will. And then you Deathwing their last board, and they haven't got their 17th Shadow Word Death in hand, and you win the game. If they've got the 18th Shadow Word Death, you're out of luck. How has Nalguidan got 10 Hearthstone cards in his hand, all of which that do nothing? How's that possible?
They do something. It's just not a. They don't do enough to kill a Ysera unless you're spending too many of them. Another Hysteria. He already has 2.
But he knows that No Hands has a sleepy dragon, so that, he might need a few Hysteria eyes.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying words at this point. I'm not even contemplating what they might be. Oh, look what's left in the decks.
I must consider.
Or For Nalguidan, he has 1 Draconic Studies, 2 Sethics, and a Palm Reading, and a Wand Maker as far as things that can make other things. No Hands has 2 Draconic Studies and an Onyx Mage Scribe.
Also has those
as well as
flesh
2 Flesh Giants.
Yeah,
which are
those.
they're probably free right now. Oh, wow, I sniped it. Look at that.
Yeah, I've got to be kinder to the Flesh Giants. They're going to be at least vaguely relevant, and that probably explains why Nalguidan is holding these Hysterias a little bit longer. But he really doesn't have anything, does he?
What is Elun's will?
He needs to generate a big dragon, and he needs to do it very soon.
What is Elun's will?
I'm going to press this button and see what happens. Everybody hold tight. The whole thing might just go down.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Brace yourselves. Neil's about to press a button. Oh, there it is. Well done, Neil.
I did it, TJ. It's only taken me...
Well done.
I'm so proud.
Yep, it is free.
In there, somewhere.
Yep, and he's just not going to play anything else because doesn't want anything to get Hysteria, and Nalguidan just keeps picking them. Still can't kill the Ysera.
Yeah. Can he not?
I mean, he could Soul Mirror it and then double Holy Smite it.
So, oh, he's going to because he's just out of patience. But also it does put it in his raised dead pool, which is more important. It's not just a total joke.
Fair.
I feel like we've had a lot less generation of anything in this particular game than usual.
Yeah, well, it's because they're not chaining it, right? Usually you're like chaining an Onyx Mage Scribe into another Draconic Studies, which then gets an Onyx Mage Scribe, and we're seeing more loops. This game, it just feels like they're kind of hitting dead ends with everything.
Yeah.
Nalguidan's hit a dead end with spells and no minions. No Hands has hit a dead end with minions but no spells. If only they could fuse their hands together to create one super hand, then they could defeat each other together.
Do we really want Super Priest in the format? That's what I want to know. Super Priest mirrors. Oh my goodness. 60 cards of your finest priest action, please, sir. I'll bring the viewers in.
Absolutely. All right, a Sethic.
A card.
Yep, nah, he has a flash heal as well.
Bit late for the Shadowform, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he really wants this flash shield to go to his face.
Yeah, I think he's got to. Like,
oh, he can Hysteria. Okay. Wave of Apathy, Hysteria.
got to be careful against these people who've got Lily and Vess in their graveyard. They might hit you for another 4. Then where would you be?
Okay, all right. Getting weirder.
Yeah, we're Hysteriaing 1/4s into 2/3s now. This game is just taking a turn for the horrible.
Okay, a rally. That's minions, you know.
I feel like it's more than I feel like. I'm pretty sure No Hands actually just wins this game, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't see how Nalguidan generates enough nonsense to get out of this.
It is going to be tough.
Uh-huh. You can fortitude into potential raise dead later, or buff one of your minions.
Didn't get Sethic.
Yeah, that's what he needed.
He knows Nightmare is there, so if he heals face, he's got a Hysteria. Yep.
Yeah, his thing lives.
All right.
Yeah, he's used so many things up. I mean, he saved them for this purpose, but they're just being wasted now. Not dying. I mean, not dying isn't wasting, but you know what I mean. He's just not getting anywhere. Oh,
yeah.
Draconic Studies. Skeletal Dragon, because why not? Or take the 50-50 with this? I don't know. I'd rather have the Skeletal Dragon. But I think no hands
off the board.
A way of closing it out, you know?
Yep.
I think
Nalguidan has a way to clear it.
Yeah, Mercy's on hand. She's also had enough. One last horribly, horribly bad clear that you have to do to stay alive. Whew. Now you play the thing you got last turn, because that's why you took it, and you don't play anything else.
No master.
Now Nalguidan whiff, and we game number 3.
Oh, he didn't whiff. Runaway Blackwing.
Oh. No, I'm sad.
Or wait.
Oh, does he not think it's enough?
Yeah, he might think he needs to get desperate and go for Brightwing.
I wonder.
And get what? Envoy Rustwix.
I have no master.
Gotta do this.
Can't count the Condemned there, so...
Or the Raised Dead.
So yeah, just Sethek and a Wand Maker.
Yeah.
The shadow of my
Played it much earlier than I expected him to, because he's so far in front. He's still got 3 cards left.
You don't pick the ones.
This needs to be good. It wasn't Wave of Apathy, so the game will end.
It is finished. You win.
All right. Weird. A weird end to a game. Did feel like both their hands kind of stalled out, but at the end, No Hands just having a minion to play each turn instead of a spell ended up working out. And I like that he just played one thing every turn. He didn't try and go all out. He didn't try and do fancy things. He's like, I'm gonna kill your stuff, and then I'm gonna play one big thing, and I'm gonna let you figure it out. So well done by No Hands, because even at the end there, sometimes we can get into situations where players can struggle with how to close things out, but No Hands able to do it what seemed very easy at the end once he'd kind of settled on that type of strategy. So now No Hands will play the Priest. I assume, actually I don't know, Nalguidan could go to Druid or Mage.
Probably go for the Mage. I'll go for the Mage, save the Druid.
Yeah.
It's fine, but you'd like to match your Druid into the opposing whatever it is. I remember thinking this was right. Paladin. Would you? Actually, no, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't like that.
No.
You actually wouldn't like that, so maybe he plays the Druid then.
Yeah, I think it might be Druid. Nah, he's gonna Q Mage. Just saw that he's gonna Q Mage.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
It is finished.
Right? He thinks that he doesn't want to expend the Druid, or maybe he thinks that the Druid is to be saved for last against the Paladin. Maybe he gets up on the board too quickly for Libran Paladin to have much of anything to do.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I'm going to move to Spell Mage. And he is playing a copy of Deck of Lunacy. Obviously, you know, these are the two players we've been talking up all season about how insane they are at Spell Mage. Nalguidan, lost the thing, lost the sheet. His record is
6-9 is the real number.
26-9. There you go. So 26-9 on Spell Mage. No Hands is like 21-10. Or something along those lines. So both incredible win rates with it. You know, we have a large sample size because they both played it in the specialist weeks. But we saw No Hands lose this matchup earlier on from the other side. So not only does that say, okay, well, maybe No Hands is favored, but it would be a big deal if Nalguidan were able to win it from this side. And I do think he has a deck that's a little bit better designed for it. He plays Deck of Lunacy, doesn't play as much early game removal as No Hands did in his deck, but No Hands also had Encanter's Flow onto and still didn't win. Now Nalguidan doesn't have it. So it's still a tough task regardless.
Yeah, No Hands not with the most phenomenal start, but it's improved fast. He's looking pretty good now, actually, TJ, for the just a Scorpion into the Mage Scribe, for instance, amongst many other options. Just keep that health total on board. Find a way to get rid of this annoying mini-mage. There aren't that many great ways. There's plenty of not great ways. Like Holy Nova, for instance, I'd class as a not great way, because it's 4 mana, 1 damage.
Warriors of the frozen waste.
Condemn would be okay, obviously. Reasonably efficient.
Ooh. Extra damage.
Always nice.
Yep. Sometimes necessary as well. We're talking about having to throw burn at minions at some points in these games.
Power Infusion, Apotheosis, both tempting.
Yeah, Power Infusion, like you said, trying to get the highest health total on board, but Apotheosis is kind of a lot of health itself, a mana cheaper, and has the added benefit of spell or lifesteal of spell. Yes, it is. Both spells. All right. Brain a little bit fried after the priest mirror.
Note it down.
Lifesteal.
Keyword spell. It's brought to you by Lorinda and TJ.
When this spell is played, it's a spell.
Yeah, it's not a holy or a darkness or a shadow or a whatever they're all called. It's just spell.
Spell.
But this Mage Scribe spells trouble, I would say. Going to eat up a lot of resources on the other side.
Yeah. Does have spell damage on board already. Does have some minions on board already, which means that could be a little bit easier to deal with. But has a full hand and very expensive minions.
So now he's going to use up the mini-mage because Hysteria exists, right?
Also because he wanted... Hysteria doesn't exist!
It's unexisted! Existed and then it didn't. That's actually quite bad news for No Hands because this board's irritating to him. He doesn't want to take any minion damage at all as the priest.
Yeah.
Oof.
I guess just Devouring Plague? I don't know. Everything else doesn't seem particularly good. because he could go like Draconic Studies and then Flash Heal at the end of the turn to make sure that he has a space in his hand. But again, that seems inefficient.
That wasn't a fun Hearthstone turn. And playing the Drake now, I think, for Nalguidan, and just go for it. Actually, Jandis? No, I'm going to play the Drake first and then Jandis afterwards. Test for Hysteria or general nonsense. I think the Drake plays around Hysteria just better, to be honest.
Yeah, but Hysteria is not the only removal that he could have, right? So... And he saw one Hysteria burned.
What I like about the Drake is the shapes on the board are just so hard to deal with in one turn to deal with all three of them. As you play Jandis, most of the stuff on your board just dies to Condemn straight away. And you haven't got a Jandis anymore.
Works against
Yeah.
me.
I mean, I'm not going to cry. If he plays Jandis, he plays Jandis. Like, not playing Jandis on 6 isn't... If someone rips a Jandis on 6, I'm never going to say it's wrong unless they're literally dead on board through 2 taunts. Like, it just...
Yeah.
It's hard to...
Yeah, the Condemn argument got me better than the Hysteria argument.
Yeah.
Because if Condemn were there with Jandis, he'd be left with a damaged random 5-drop. With Caldera Drake, he's left with a random damaged Caldera Drake. Still random, yes.
Yep.
No matter what, the relic clears it. So now it can Refreshing Spring Water and then Jandis at the end, unless he finds something that tickles his fancy a little bit more, like a deck of Lunacy.
How about an Apexis Blast? See what they do, and then decide whether to Jandis or not next turn.
Did the jingle not inspire you?
Well, the deck of Lunacy.
Yeah, there you go.
Inspired me. Now you've got to convince them.
Didn't inspire Nalguidan. He hasn't played in a Canner's Flow. Like, you're really going to kill him with Burn at this stage? Maybe, but... Let's get a bunch of random stuff, my friend.
Interesting, because the Lunacy, I think, in this match, you have to play it by ear. Like, have I drawn a Lunacy sort of hand or a Burny sort of hand? And he hasn't really gone much Burny, so I think we might see the deck get played here. Sort of early enough to still make a difference. I feel like the Mage is behind when they've really not made any impression by turn 12 or 12 cards drawn. What do you like?
I was looking at Variant Plague, but I guess this Condemn is way better.
Did TJ's jingle work? If not, his career in advertising is over.
Yeah, it's fine, right? Like, he hasn't picked up any... I guess he doesn't have any burn in hand, except for Apexis Blast, if that's the case. Boom!
Deck of Lunacy.
Bada bing, bada boom. That's what I'm talking about, Nalguidan. Oh, nope, don't put it down. Pick it back up.
I he's allowed to...
All right.
Players checking. What do you reckon? Is he gonna? Is he ripping it?
All right, pick it back up. All right, play it. Let's go. Ah, yes. Okay, now we got ourselves a game. Time to sit up.
I'm already sitting up. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, Arbor up. That one's good. Ooh, Skull of Gul'dan. Ah, but he doesn't have hand space. Dump the Arbor up. All right. Now get on. 15 cards left of pure nonsense.
Of pure lunacy.
He does have 2 10/10 cost spells in the deck.
Okay.
Because he has a Flame Strike in his hand right now, has not played a Mask thus far this game. So that's an important break point to note.
And why is that, TJ? We haven't refreshed them for a while on the 10 drops. You gonna go there?
Because there's only 2? I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
Something about survival and the Grand Slam. There you go. It's done. They're the
Oh, yeah, okay. You wanted me to name the 2. Gotcha.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
know you know them, but yeah, I was just...
Only 2 10 drops, Survival of the Fittest, as well as in the Grand Slam. You only play 3/7, usually 3/7 drops turn into 10 drops, but they become 7 mana because that's how Deck of Lunacy works. Meanwhile, No Hands is spinning cards.
He's making some progress, but it's very weird progress. This whole game's been a bit strange.
Certainly has.
This whole week's been a bit strange, to be honest. 2 mana Apexis Blast on the Murloc that is 6/5 lifesteal. How did we get here?
All right, there we go. Full value, Dark Portal, nice. Rancor, nice. Soul Red, nice. Actually, those are not nice.
Bag of spanners. Wrenches to you.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Works against
They've both got nothing. It's great. If they've both got nothing, that favours the priest, right? Because the priest is designed to do nothing.
Yes. I would say so.
As a person who sometimes dabbles in the priestly arts, I'm usually quite happy when my opponent starts playing just garbage things from their Lunacy.
Which is a lot of them. All right, he's got a Mind Render, but he only has 6 mana. There's like 1 playable card.
Share your thoughts with the class now.
The information that your opponent has very, very little going on in their hand is pretty strong there.
Yeah. And then I guess you just Apexis Blast here.
Yep. Face or minion? Minion, right?
Minion, it's Priest.
Sure.
I wonder.
Yeah. You get a letter sent to you by the design team if you Apexis Blast face as a priest. It's like, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay.
And what would you like, young man?
That was pretty cute. Going for Rune Orb and picking up the Idol of Yashraj, which is a completely useless spell.
Mm-hmm.
Crimson Hothead. Devouring Plague. Probably. Or Crimson Hothead Apotheosis on the Mind Render.
Yeah, I like that better. Because the Apotheosis is... there's not much burn for Nalguidan, but yeah, I think Apotheosis is still pretty important for the...
You can give him a wildfire. That's so useless.
works against me.
Unless... Oh, does it work with Shadowform? It's got to.
It will do, yeah. It will do. Sorry, I'm saying that like...
Oh no, he's going to play it himself. He's got a Mordrush on the other side.
Oh! Of course.
All right. I mean, we're still like getting into this such like weird territory. Uncharted waters for both players. NoHands gonna say, all right, Nalguidan, we can get a little bit more even in fatigue.
He is.
Not really a win condition in this matchup.
He's got Condemn to clear the board, so he's got a 4-12, which is actually a relevant thing.
Yeah.
And you say it's not a win condition, but...
Well, it's not a win condition for the Mage to fatigue the Priest, is what I meant. Because Mage is drawing way more cards. Even with Deck Lunacy being played, you're drawing like Sprints and Hand of Gul'dans and Nourishes.
Oh no.
Skull of Gul'dans.
I've played this match from this side, and things can get absolutely ridiculous now with the Celestial alignment. So the Mage has to find a way to get in front. But if it does, the alignment just wins the game.
How do you get in front?
By not being Mage.
By being a Druid who's designed for these types of things.
Yeah.
Alright. Sage will draw 3 cards. Looking for some more cards. Pride's Fury, pretty useless. Germination, not completely useless. Deep Freeze, decent.
He needs a Nourish, doesn't he? Then he can Celestial.
Works against me. All in due.
Has then become the Druid.
Whoa, that's ambitious.
So he's banking on his cards being able to get more value per card than No Hands. And No Hands did have a lot of like generation effects, right? And the Nalguidan doesn't. And the generation effects are worse because they're going to put something full cost. Right? Like Renew gives you something full cost. Skeletal Dragon gives you a full cost dragon. Raised Head gives you full cost anything.
Okay.
So, I mean, maybe this is correct because of that.
So the reason I'm sort of grunting and snorting here is obviously Priest gets to go first in this crazy battle. He gets 2 mana first, 3 mana first, 4 mana first. And now Nalguidan, from what we can see in hand, that's not counting the 5 cards in deck, is not in front in that equation. But also, one of his advantages he had was that his deck was full of cheap stuff, which is no longer the case. Well, it is now full of cheap stuff, but not relatively. I am curious.
Want to really slow down the game, I guess.
I must consider.
I don't know. This is certainly bizarre. Only 5 cards left remaining, so one of them is a 10 cost. Now a 1 cost.
You still take the studies here. Oh no, you can take Power of Fortitude maybe. Actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Studies like, what are you going to pick a 6 cost dragon then wait 5 turns?
Kind of, yeah. Like, surprisingly, just because you do get there. But yeah, the Fortitude's just better, so don't do that. I've played this exact game, strangely enough. It's never exact because Lunacy's different every time. But you know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah. Okay, so we saw Soul Mirror. So now could go Deep Freeze plus Survival of the Fittest. And good luck dealing with that with... Oh no, he can't deal with it.
Apotheosis, yeah.
Yeah, also has Blade Master Sunrow Apotheosis Powered Fortitude, which deals with one of them. Well, you do it Blade Master Powered Fortitude, then Apotheosis.
Yeah, so you Hysteria, then you Blade Master, then you Apotheosis. I think you do it that way. If it goes wrong.
Yeah, which it didn't. It's good enough. Just a Devouring Plague, and then I guess a Skeletal Dragon just to have something on board. It's going to put a full cost dragon in your hand, but, you know, whatever.
And again, we're getting to the point now where if he gets a 4 mana or 5 mana dragon, those are actual real cards fairly soon. Like, the value might be relevant. It might not.
Ooh! He can Psyche Split Germination. Psyche Split the Skeletal Dragon Germination.
Yeah.
I'll be
Apexis Blast as well while you're at it. Yeah, you Psychic Split first in that case. But
He could have like drawn this out and gone to like a late game Dragon War.
then it would drag on.
Yeah, that's what I said. Dragon.
Dragon War.
I'll be
We're there. We got there.
Yeah.
Wieners.
I that's what I meant. A Dragon War. I just said it fast.
Of course. I shall beat you one day. I promise.
Lawmaker. Okay, well that gives you a 1-cost thing. Still doable. Wave of Apathy. Nice. Oh, I mean, if this sticks, ooh, Nalguidan's just going to go Psyche Split, Pride's Fury, and then
We are friends.
still be like 20 damage short. Oh! What?
Okay.
All right. So, yeah. Psyche Split, Survival of the Fittest, Pride's Fury.
A lot. That is a lot.
out of cards.
All right, let's draw. I mean, there has to be it because that's all he's got left.
Yeah, this needs to work. And there's a big Blade Master waiting in the wings. Is it big enough? Grand Finale, the most aptly named card right now.
Works
It
against
is the grand finale of the grand final.
Yep, just all in.
Blade Master only is big enough, right? Big enough to do most.
Not quite. Hard Fortitude brings it to 4. Apotheosis brings it to 6.
That's enough. He won't.
Yeah. And then
everything,
he's
but
got... Well, he's got enough for a Devouring Blade and then trades, right? So it's almost enough.
Yeah.
my blade.
And
Almost
he'll go
enough to
next
clear
turn.
everything.
And
Yeah.
he'll pick up the pieces next turn because Nalguidan has nothing left.
Yep.
Wow. And to be fair to No Hands, he has saved this massive Blade Master for a long time. Well, like 4 turns or something. That's a long time considering how this game's gone.
Certainly is.
I mean, I guess it was a fairly easy keep because he wanted it from the Grand Slam.
Well, I don't know. Maybe like Pride's Fury would have put things out of range that last turn if he had not gone for Grand Finale.
Yep. Not an easy call to make, but one he probably should because he knows, all but 3 of the cards plus a couple of generated cards. So
Yeah, that's just like being super results oriented. Because you don't play around these absurd clears, right? Of power
so-
fortitude.
I mean,
Sometimes you
some of it-
can, but
I'm not saying he should do anything different even necessarily, but some of it exists, and your opponent has 2 cards left or 3 cards left in their deck. Your opponent has generated cards that they haven't played. Your opponent is one of the best players in the world. I'm not going to call it wrong because you're right, I'm being picky, but also, if you want to be called the best player in the world, you can spot those.
yeah. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. You convinced me. But yeah, so that'll be No Hands taking the Mage versus Priest. The Priest won on both sides of that matchup, right? And in 2 very different styles. Whereas No Hands went for the burn plan in his first game against Nalguidan.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. And then Nalguidan went for the Deck of Lunacy line in his game. It didn't work out. So Priest 2-0 against Mage in the series. It also means No Hands gets the leg up now. 2 wins in a row with Priest. He gets to try his hand at Priest versus Druid. And then Nalguidan has to beat the Priest and Paladin left remaining from No Hands in order to win the series. So tough task still ahead. Nalguidan, but Toka Druid's a deck that can beat just about anything.
I mean, on Friday we cast it and there's a turn 4 kill, and Derek's in our chat saying that's ridiculous or something like that. And the next game was a turn 3 kill. It's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. We don't do turn 4s in Americas. We're not APAC.
Nope. We get close though. We get close. Definitely not.
Here it is. I like this deck.
Yeah. I like the resizing pouch version a little better. Nalguidan's got some expensive stuff in the deck, right? Guidance is sort of like resizing pouch, except it's, you know, way less targeted, but has a chance to get more like potential value, right? Because you can get 2 really heavy hitting spells. And the Double Soul of the Forest actually did help him quite a bit in the Warlock matchup that he played against Killing All Day earlier. So despite having like a little bit of a heavier list, it actually worked in his favor so far. And against Priest, that could be the case as well, but a lot of times you are looking for that flexibility against Priest to try and craft a little bit more of a resilient game plan than you'd normally be able to. But we'll see. Nalguidan's on his last life. It's all up to the Druid.
Yeah, and weirdly, this is one of those games where we always say, hey, what does the Druid draw? Blah, blah, blah. It's all about what the Druid draws. But it's really, really important for once what the Priest draws as well. Can they get those condemns is a big deal. And already a decision for No Hands. Do you like the palm reading, or do you want to just draw the things in your deck?
I like the palm reading. Ooh, Druid Condemn. All right, has got an answer to one thing.
Same as the Warlock match, we're going to be talking about number of boards that can be cleared. And if that number hits more than 3, it gets tough for the Druid, but not impossible. And we did see earlier, like 5 or 6 boards were made against the Warlock, and that's why it came good on that particular occasion.
I think that's got an awkward opening hand. He's got Gibberling and Glowfly Swarm. It's awkward, but also kind of good. He just needs to find like card draw in order to kind of piece everything together.
How tempting is it though to just get a soul in next turn? Gibberling, do the things, Soul of the Forest at the end of the turn. I think you lose that way.
Yeah, it's your whole hand. You're straining to Glowfly Swarm. I think Glowfly Swarm is going to be first. Oh, this is good. He can
now you might
coin Fungal Fortunes, then end the turn with Nature Studies, and you can Glowfly Swarm on 4. If that gets cleared, then you roll into the
jaw. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're doing the sensible thing, and you're right. Yeah. And then you do the Gibberling thing if it all goes wrong into Soul.
Yeah, actually now it has Glowfly into Gibberling.
Yeah, that's crazy. No buffs, but they'll turn. Oh, there's the buff. Yeah. All good. Meanwhile, while we've been enthusing about Nalguidan's hand, the second Condemn and the Soul Mirror have both been picked up by No Hands.
Yeah, he's got removal, right? Does have some removal. But will he have removal for all the boards that Nalguidan will be able to generate? Time will tell.
Probably not. Nalguidan 1 mana short of next turn being able to play Glowflies and Soul them up. And with the Condemn gone, that would make it impossible virtually to clear both boards. Power of the Wild. you absolutely do this, right? You glowfly and then you overload yourself with Power of the Wild to give yourself a load of 3/3s.
Intriguing.
Turn after you still have enough mana because you have the Innovate left to arbor up.
Okay. It's actually really difficult to try and figure out how to sequence this.
Intriguing.
The reason I like it is because if it goes wrong, you've still got Gibbling plays available to you. But it is hard. Because you can Gibbling, do a load of stuff, and finish with Soul of the Forest, and if your opponent can't clear twice, you're also okay.
All right, he's taking the risk. Now No Hands gets to go Onyx, Mage, Scribe, Condemn. Oh, it's so good.
It's a lot.
He was like, how likely is it for him to have the second Condemn? The payoff was huge. If he didn't have pretty much exactly second Condemn, then he could have gone Innervate, Solar Eclipse, and Arbor Up. Even with the Power of the Wild, with the Lightning Bloom available to him that the next turn, even if a couple of the minions were cleared off, it was likely Nalguidan was going to have lethal. So obviously we can see the hands. Don't blame him for that play, because I think that's just the correct play. So high upside. The only thing that punishes you is Condemn, and it just so happened that the second Condemn was there. So
Yeah.
now he's got to start from scratch. Again, still has Solar Eclipse and Arbor Up in hand, which means that pretty much any board that sticks, he's cooking.
Yeah,
I think he's going to try and make a sticky board here with maybe Soul, but then he'd have to use Lightning Bloom. It wouldn't have access to Solar Eclipse plus Arbor Up.
Is one Arbor Up maybe enough? Like, I don't know. I want to use this Soul because I'm against the Priest, but we shall see. Just want to make sure that this counts as 2 boards if I use Soul, and there's enough mana to Arbor Up. And this beats Soul Mirror, which is nice. As you've pointed out, though, like you lose a Solar Eclipse part of it, but you know what? If they can clear this board and the board after I Arbor Up, and they've already cleared 2 boards, they can win the grand final. I don't care anymore at that point. Good luck.
I must consider.
Didn't want to win that game anyway.
All right, so No Hands. He could go trade Soul Mirror, Holy Smite, but I think he wants to. He'd have like a full board himself.
Oh, I see. This says you kind of have to trade into this minion or kill me immediately. Because the lifesteal is going to be so irritating. 6, 7.
Devouring Plague. Okay. Lightning Bloom! That's lethal!
Solar Eclipse.
Is it?
Arbor Up.
Oh no, it's
Counted it. It must be. It's 1,000,000.
no, I think it's slightly off. 5, 6, 7 plus 24. No, it is.
Yeah, it's all the minions have 1 attack.
It's lethal.
We'll forget the extra one. You give them +4, so there's 5, 6 is 30, and then there's some bits left over, which is even more.
It's 30. Yeah, 31.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Spotted it.
2-2.
So even double Condemn is not enough. Even double Condemn. One of those Condemns also had an Onyx Mage Scribe attached to it, right? Still got there. Still got there. I mean, Apex been right all along. Token Druid is just good. If Nalguidan wins, this is going to be 2 weeks in a row where Token Druid is just in the final lineup and wins more than 1 game. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. And now it comes down to the last matchup. It comes down to Paladin for NoHandsGamer versus the Token Druid. for Nalguidan. This was a little tougher. Paladin can get off to some fast starts, but they don't have board sweeps. They have board sweep potential in the later stages of the game because of like Libra of Justice and Pinflinger's stuff. But until then, you know, they're fighting minion to minion and relying on like early aggression or maybe some Libra of Hopes and taunts to pull them out of some sticky situations. So I'm a little bit worried for No Hands right now.
I've not seen it much since the change to first day. Pre-change at first day, you put a couple of things on the board, then you mess around with some Librams and the Druid still hasn't done anything, then you drop, you know, an Aldor, and the Druid says, oh, I have some 2/2s here. Well, I've got a 4/6 and a bunch of 1-mana cards already. Unlucky, you're done. But I don't think it's quite like that anymore, because you know, your first day costs mana now, and then you have to mess around, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out. Have to play around Oh My Yogg is irritating, but the 0-mana stuff tends to turn into... Well, they've got a good chance of getting stuff like Preparation anyway, so it's not always a disaster. If you save the coin, for instance.
Or it just turns into other 0-mana stuff.
Yeah, unless you backstab your own thing, like, it's usually okay.
Yeah, and you are just playing 0-mana stuff anyway, so... not too bad, all things considered, but if they get off, Token Druid gets off to a good start, it can be very tough to fight back. That's the rough part of this matchup. But Game 5, a grueling day so far. This is like the longest day we've had this week, and it's only our 3-match day. And we started on time, which one of the days we ended right about now, and we didn't even start on time. So
what's going on? Yeah, we've had all these Druids killing people on turn 4, thank goodness. But on the line here is the right for the first person to win 2 tournaments in the region. One of these players will have won twice at the end of this game of Hearthstone. So is it going to be Nalguidan? Is it going to be NoHandsGamer? We're going to have to find out after this. No, I'm not going to take an advert break, don't worry.
I was like, did I miss something here? What the heck?
May the light.
Okay, I like the opening hand for Nalguidan, not so much for No Hands.
I am in agreement with you, young man.
Nalguidan's got options. Options for days. No Hands. Oh, no options, but that's pretty darn good.
He'll have to do. Like, he hasn't got anything else.
I mean, he could Libram of Wisdom. I mean, the timing of... Okay, he's going to hear power. The timing of playing Sword of the Fallen could actually be a big deal. Just because, like, you want to be able to play... get the Oh My Yogg out on a key turn.
Right. Agree with that entirely. Yeah, going into the turn you think they're going to pop off. I actually like playing the trees here, the 1/2s, to force No Hands to have an awkward looking turn. Whether he swords, whether he Librams, whether he hands, you know. But Nalguidan is in a hurry. He wants to get some more stuff.
Oh, first day of school, that's good. Number of attacks is a big deal against Token Druid, so the more minions you can put on board, the better. Alright, so now he's going for Sword of the Fallen, because now would be the Lightning Bloom Glowfly Swarm turn. Let's see what secret he got. It was on my Yogg. Okay.
Now getting in a really weird position of having none of the mass-producing cards. No Gibberling, no Swarm.
Yeah.
He's got a handful of closers and mana, but he hasn't got anything really particularly good. I think he has to rip the nature studies here and try and get one of those cards. Yeah. horrible, but yes.
It's something.
It says explode.
It is something. He's got so much mana. Like, he just needs things to do. Like, literally the only limiting factor he has is mana at the moment.
Absolutely. Like, he can literally play Glowfly Swarm and Soul of the Forest in one turn.
Yeah, or he could go Runic Carvings for Rush, and then still be able to do anything he wants.
The world is his oyster, except he's playing around stupid Paladin secrets and he hasn't got the right cards.
Yeah, the only thing that I see here that's kind of awkward is he's got a Nature Studies buff up right now, but doesn't have like efficient ways. Actually, he could go start off with Lunar Eclipse, and then no, you can't do that.
So the play is next turn to play Runic Carvings and have it Oh My Yogg into Glowfly Swarm. I'm not sure that is the play, but you know.
Oh, wasn't on my Yogg. No, it's like, cool.
I like 4/3.
Nice.
They're good.
I like this buff. So it's Galloping Savior and Reckoning. And Galloping Savior is a problem as well. All right, so next turn he really is just going to go Runic Carvings and then everything.
Yep. The whole kit and caboodle.
Oh my god, is that another Libra of Hope? Oh boy. So his hand is 2 weapons and 2 things that are unplayable for 4 turns. And he also has Imprisoned Gnarg, so that's another weapon.
Meanwhile, Nalguidan's trying to fight with a discovered 6-drop and a bunch of 0 mana garbage.
The weirdest token Druid versus Paladin game I've ever seen.
Absolutely. That's why I love it. I mean, you took this Runic Carvings. I think you should probably consider playing it. I understand that it's not enticing, but you chose this life. I mean, I guess you could hit the Nature Studies first and try and get... Oh, he's going to innovate, so then he plays the Nature Studies and sees what he gets. I think that's what's going to happen here. But he wants to bank the mana first.
This is so hard. I don't even know what to do.
Celestial alignment.
Yeah.
But all of your stuff is one.
This Lightning Bloom, Innervate, Celestial alignment.
I just see what happens.
No Hands has to be thoroughly confused as to what's happening here. Because that's going to be 2 turns in a row that Nalguidan has essentially no development.
After discovering 2 cards, fungling, and waiting for 5 turns, yeah.
That's another weapon.
Yeah, you say that No Hands is confused, but Nalguidan is like, what is my opponent doing with this army of nothing?
Both players are doing absolutely nothing.
He's replacing his 3/2 weapon with a 1/2 weapon.
Alright, it's Oh My Yogg. Last secret. At this point, he's just kind of fed up. He's like, alright. I need these secrets out of my deck, so I stop drawing dead things. And right now, okay, he's out of secrets. That's the last secret in his deck. Cool.
Don't backstab your own Gibberling and you're good. If it backstabs the created Gibberling, then he's in trouble. Oh, it's the other ordering, so no, don't backstab it.
No, it is the right ordering.
Yeah, okay. Sigil of Silence. Is it all minions? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just opposing minions.
All.
So that's an absolute disaster.
Again, the game gets weirder.
But he's still...
Oh, no, it's enemy minions. It's enemy minions. No, it's enemy minions.
Oh, that's actually really good then.
Sigil of Flames is all minions, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There's one of them that's all minions.
I'm going to Google now. I'm sorry. Sorry to do this in the middle of a cast.
Yes, Sigil of Flames is all minions. Sigil of Silence is enemy minions. So it's actually not that awkward. He can do whatever he wants. Nalguidan stuff is just all queued up.
He's got
no idea what he played this turn.
Yep.
Okay, so he went Power of the Wild and then Soul of the Forest. Okay. Yeah, actually, he could just die. He only has 3 mana next turn. There's 5, 6, 7, 8. He equips Libram of Judgment. That's 13. That's a 2-turn lethal setup through anything.
Yeah, he might just lose.
There's 1 generated card. He's only got 3 mana. This is a no-brainer for No Hands.
Yep.
This is a no-handser.
No handser. Big brainer.
I mean, he really doesn't have many other options.
All of his stuff gets silenced next turn, so that's bad.
Yes. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, he's going to put Nalguidan down to 4. Wait, let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, don't trade.
He's got... I mean, he can clear with Blademaster Samuro Libram, but...
Why would you? I mean, yeah, okay, maybe...
Nalguidan's got 3 mana next turn and spent both Lightning Blooms.
I mean, so maybe I'm going to give No Hands the benefit of just seeing a win here. I think you always win the race, but he's seen a line that works, so he's going for it, and I can't argue with that, although I would have liked to have seen him go face.
Okay.
The counter argument is how does if he can't buff the board next with 3 mana, and maybe he has more buffs, maybe he has more mana creation into an Arbor up, and you miscalculate. How does he win from here anyway? No Hands is 2 turns away from going Libram into Libram. Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah, no, I feel like he just should be winning this turn.
Same. Oh, he doesn't know what the runic carvings is. That's a generator.
Yeah, but he had 3 mana. He had 3 mana and used both natural Lightning Blooms in his deck. He had 1 discovered card.
Right.
If the discovered card is Lightning Bloom and he has Arbor up, there would have been 12 damage on board plus 10. He still wouldn't have died. Oh no, it'd been plus 14. He still wouldn't have died. He was at 30. I couldn't think of a single combination of cards that kills him at 3 mana, no matter what the discovered card is. The only thing that he could have discovered is like something to give him a taunt or heal, like maybe like Feral Rage or something like that, which is a possibility, right? So, you know, playing around the possibility of a Feral Rage is maybe worth it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with him. I mean, I was sort of liked the race myself, but
Yeah.
you know.
But you're right. In this situation, you know, maybe it's 100% win by itself. Or maybe not, because this is going to be a huge board.
Mm-hmm. Solar Eclipse, does it do things? Let's find out.
It summons another Gibberling. But he can't do it all. So he's got to go Gibberling, Bog Beam, Solar Eclipse, Arbor up, and then double trade.
That's a lot.
Then his last card is Solar Eclipse.
But that's... I've made this mistake too many times before, saying my last card's Solar Eclipse, that's bad. It's good so often. You draw Fungal Fortunes, it's just good. You draw so many things that are just absolutely good. It just looks like it's garbage, but most of your deck does something pretty good with it. Wow. This could go wrong for No Hands for sure.
Yep. I mean, he's out of cards.
So let's have a look what he has got left, because that's super relevant for Nalguidan. Guess the weight, that's fine. Fungal's fine. Prize Fury, meh. Soul of the Forest, meh. 2 Glowfly Swarms, another Arbor Up, another Lunar Eclipse, a Guidance, Adorable, and Innovate. Nearly all of those cards, well, a good chunk of those cards, in fact, are good. Like, really good. Solar Eclipse. Found the button. They won't let me stop now.
Yeah, I mean, Arbor Up would be... That's not the one. And one of these will die as well, because Reckoning is still up.
It has 2 Glowfly Swarms, so I think you have to hold the Eclipse to buff a Glowfly Swarm in the future, because you're not dying anytime soon. Or you're hoping you're not dying anytime soon, at least. He sees it differently by... All you gain for your Solar Eclipse is a 1/1. Oh, you get 3 1/1s. Alright.
Okay. Yep. Works out because the Reckoning as well.
Slips away.
But I don't know if he can get through all this, right? This is a lot of stuff from No Hands. He's got more heal with Libra of Hope. More heal with the Libra of Judgment. If he can buy himself a turn with with the Libra of Hope, then Lady Liadrin could be enough.
12 cards left. 1 Prize Fury, 1 Arbor Up, 2 Fungal. There's a lot of good cards in here for Nalguidan. But yeah, you're right. He's in danger of just losing by dying now.
It's like Soul of the Forest into Arbor Up, right?
Yes. Actually, does Arbor Up just do it on its own? Probably not. 6 and 3 leaves 3 3s. No, nowhere near.
Glowfly Swarm.
Sounds good. Not as good as it sounds. Makes 0 2/2s.
Yeah. So No Hands. You know, I criticized that one line, but if there was like a couple, like 2 cards that could have punished him for that line, and he saw this one, which looked to be, you know, pretty close to 100%, because Nalguidan had maybe not the ideal leftovers in his hand, but pretty darn good. And so he spotted this line that played a little bit more control and didn't give Nalguidan any potential outs. Now just gets to make this taunt massive and have double Libra of Hope in the hand. I don't see it. I can't think of a single card.
I think it's lethal.
Oh, is it just lethal? Oh, yep, you're right. It's exactly, or even 1 over lethal with the possibility of Libra of Wisdom. You're absolutely right. So
Just got him.
there it is. No Hands wins again. Solidifies that first place standing in America's Grandmasters. Now 4 points ahead of the next person in line, which is Nalguidan. So yeah, Nalguidan at 16 points now. No Hands at 20 points after week 6.
That's ridiculous. He needs 1 more point to basically win the league. And Nalguidan winning the tournament if No Hands gets 1 point, you know. Okay, sure. But
Yeah.
1 more point next week, which means he has to win 1 of his 2 matches to basically win, unless Nalguidan can win again. Which, honestly, he's, you know, with the occasional weird slip-up, he's actually playing on a macro level better than I've seen him play almost ever. He's been good for a long time, but I feel like this year, with the added LATAM representation, I think that seems to be helping him, whether it's more encouragement or whether it's just better playtest groups, whatever. And
Yeah.
he seems more focused. He doesn't seem to be slipping up and making silly mistakes anywhere near as often in crucial spots. So I think good for his second place. There's Luna and Eddie will have something to say about that, and Hacker, but I can't